I love it. So, Luca Nation, welcome back to episode 571 of Lucas Tigers of Bronze. And I think today's episode is going to give you a little flavor of what the hobby is all about. So, I'll give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. We had Jordan Gilroy on from Leland's Auctions, right? You guys remember this whole thing? We were talking about Mint 25, which was like this exclusive 25 pieces of memorabilia, cards, experiences that they were meant to auction off in Vegas. Talking about that, the whole auction, we got to know Jordan. And one of the cards that stuck out to me was and when I say this, it might blow your mind. So we're talking about a Jordan Exquisite. That's dope in and of itself. The patch literally looks like a J. And here's the kicker. Jersey number serial 23. So like this is a one of one piece. And I was blown away. Cage remembers that episode. Yeah. We had the episode, lots of listeners, record listeners. And we had a gentleman from the community reach out. He's like, dude, that's my card. Like, dude, that's my card. Like, listen to the show. And he's like, dude, that's my card. I was like, which card? He's like, the Jordan card. I was like, the Jordan in the Mint auction? And he said, yeah. And I said, we got to have you on. I want to hear more about the card, more about you, the story behind the card. Honestly, it's a one of one piece. And I know we have, 2,000-3,000 listeners every day. I think one of you guys is going to bid on that card. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. The man in front of me, also a New Yorker, but actually I think he's from Boston if you pick up on his accent, JB. And we got Cage. So today's episode is going to be super fun. We're going to talk to JB a little bit. Then I'll drop off and we're going to do a standard episode of two plays and stuff like that. So without further ado, man, I want to welcome you to the show. It's really good to have you.
Glad to be here, brother.
So give us look at the memorabilia.
It doesn't surprise me, by the way, guys. If you don't have YouTube, you might want to take a look at this just because you got a shitty background with me. Andrew's got that thing up on the wall there, the macrame. It's it's only there because there's an electric outlet behind it. It's blocking it. But JB comes on it. It's exactly what you would expect from somebody who's got an item in the Lelands Mint 25 auction. He's got jerseys galore. We got all kinds of craziness. No Boston collection is complete without having the Tom Brady up there. Not with a Tampa Bay jersey. I'll add just in case you're not looking at this on YouTube. It's clearly a TB New England jersey.
You guys got the show, though, man. You guys got the show. That's what matters.
It's slow. Listen, it's good stuff, and it allows us to meet folks like you. We get to hear the behind the scenes. And I think what I'd love to hear, if I were out there listening, a couple things. Number one would be, how'd you get the card? Did you pack pull it? Did you buy it from somebody? How long have you had it? And then, you probably have had it for a while. And, it was one of those things where you're like, hey, I'm going to hang on to this card forever. Like this is one I don't need to get rid of. You probably do fine for yourself. How does it come to pass that you're now one of the lucky 24, card auctions, because some of its experiences as a UFC event, there's the last worn Michael Jordan, where he broke his foot sneaker. I mean, there's crazy stuff in this auction. How do you find yourself, all right, I don't need to sell this, to I'm in the Mint 25 crazy auction that's ending in a couple of days? So those are the two I'd love to hear. Pick whichever one you'd like.
I'll just give you the whole synopsis, I guess.
Boom. I love it.
I got the card a few years ago. I wasn't even expecting to get the card. It was from a gentleman off eBay, and he was very interested in a Mantle PSA 4 52-311 that I had. Almost dead centered. It was pretty damn centered. Beautiful color, the whole line presentation. And we started talking, and I started showing him cards. He showed me cards. And, of course, the Jordans never showed their face. Until I was just like, I don't want to sell my Mantle. It's not going anywhere. I can't find another centered one. And then he's like, do you like Michael Jordan? And I was like, who doesn't like Michael Jordan? He's like, well, I have these exquisite cards. And at the time, I had no idea how important exquisite was. So I was like, show me a picture. So he showed me a limited logo Jordan, dynamite patch. We worked the deal out on that. For cash, because I was like, okay, fine, let me just roll with it. Then the Mantle came up again, and this kid's like dying for this car, dying for it. And he's like, I have a very special Jordan that you may want to go with the other limited logos I gave you. And that's when he showed me the 23. So I knew from just, I cherish the 23. Like, I don't know, I'm a big jersey number guy. If I could see anyone's jersey number, it's just 23 is iconic, obviously. So I just felt like if I have a chance to get this card, I'll do whatever it takes. So he said he was looking to get out of basketball, and he was looking. This story is pretty crazy, actually. He was looking to get out of basketball and get into vintage. So long story short, we made a blockbuster deal. I won't get into numbers and figures, but I gave him numerous cards. He gave me this card. He gave me cash. I felt I did great. Fine. Now, the crazy thing about this is he sent me this card in the mail without me giving him $1 or a card. Dead serious. He just sent it to me. He was like, I trust you. I never met this guy. I didn't know him from a hole in the wall. I guess he did his due diligence and asked around. I don't know. He saw my feedback. But long story short, I got the card. I had it for a few years. It was something I definitely treasured, still do to this day. And to be honest, this isn't all about the money for me. It's kind of like a competition right now. I know it sounds odd, but I feel like this card's competing against a $300,000 LaMelo Ball, or for instance, it's God bless. There's a LeBron Prism, which you guys see in this auction. Now, me personally, there's numerous variations of the card. I know this one's gold. It's Gem 10. It's Pop 1, and it's it's beautiful. But for me, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy. If I'm spending 200 G's, I'm making sure I get a patch that's game one. I'm making sure I get an autograph. That LeBron's beautiful. But I have that card in cracked ice orange that was $300. So personally, if I'm a buyer, if I'm an investor, I go with the stuff that I know I'm getting. Like I said, the game worn patch, I'm getting an autograph. It's exquisite collection. They just don't make them like this anymore. So somebody will get it, and someone's going to add this to the collection, and it's an amazing card. I mean, do I have a little bit of sell?
It's amazing. It really is. I mean, I'm on eBay right now as you're talking, looking for a cracked ice orange version of it for $300 to see if I can find one. And they didn't make one, shockingly, back in 2003.
Of the Jordan,
of the Jordan. I'm telling you, yeah, exactly. So I mean, and I love your point, man. And for people listening to this, anybody who might be on the fence about buying this, Jay just made a great point, right? And no one is crapping on that LeBron. That's an amazing card. The Kobe tribute dunk. It is a real cool card. He's in his Lakers uniform, which a lot of people like. All that fun stuff. But you're right. There are literally hundreds of thousands of that picture of that card. This is a parallel.
This card was the way that cards are cut now. Like a Gem 10's not totally out of the realm. Like my card is 395 subs for an exquisite that was pulled in 05.
Yep.
Extremely tough.
So the reason, just so you guys out there listening, why are we comparing these two? So the Mint 25 auction on Lelands is 25 cards, and Lelands goes ahead and appraises them. So the appraisal value, right, which is just like this, sometimes it ends way higher, sometimes lower, but they're right in the same ballpark. 250 to 300 is kind of the appraisal value for both of these cards.
Now, in comparison to what you guys watch these auctions, you see what's going for 3, 4, 500,000. Correct. And I don't, like I said, it's not even about the money. I'm comparing, I feel Michael Jordan represents sports in general, right? So how are people not, maybe the hobby's changing, maybe I'm getting older. You guys have to be around my age, right? I'm getting close to 40. You guys in around?
You're right in between. You're right in between.
I'm 38. Right? So, I'm seeing a generational change almost that but at the end of the day, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan. He's global. He'll never leave. He's branded. His logo's on every jersey right now in every sport. You're talking about soccer, basketball, baseball. It's Jordan. It's brand. I mean, I don't know. So
let me ask you. Let's take a step back, if you don't mind. So, how did you get into collecting? Just real quick, 30, 60 seconds. Were you collecting as a kid?
Collected as a kid all my life. Comics, cards. Got out of it for a while, and oddly enough, the first card I bought, which is now worth crazy money, and it's odd, but I bought a bar card. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Super Break, the bar.
Yeah.
It's an oversized card. It's hand drawn.
Yeah, it's got an autograph on it, a drawing. It's got the little gold bar on the top.
Correct.
The little slab. Yeah, I've seen them. Cool
I
stuff.
got that was the first card I got back in with.
Yeah,
and I
the
bought
bar.
it from Lou Papa, sports card. You know him, Big Lou.
Yep.
Big collector. Great guy.
Who was it though? What card was it?
You want to hear? It was Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. It was ridiculous. I think I bought the card for like $5,000 off him, and that's what got me back into the hobby. I kept in touch with Lou, I still do till today, and he honestly, essentially mentored me, I guess, in a way, because I didn't know what cards was. I didn't know that there was to be money made, so I bought anything and everything. All the guys I loved, I had a huge thing, and slowly but surely, people would say like, "How much you want for your card?" And I would say I made $100. I was like, "Wow, I just made $100." And then Lou was like, "Hey, man, you gotta ask for a little bit more. Don't get rid of that card for that." Slowly but surely, and he was the one who told me to buy that mantle. He said, "Buy this mantle, and good things will come to you." And it did. It led
as
me
a Boston guy buying a Yankee as a cornerstone of your collection.
No,
what
I'm not a Boston guy. I'm a New York guy my whole life. But so that's how I got into cards, man. And I've been doing it now for like 5 years. I'm a collector at heart, but at the end of the day, business is business, right? And if you could help yourself and help your family now, then God bless the next person to make $1. That's how I feel.
I like that. I mean, a little leave the meat on the bone. Also, you had a good mentor, obviously, because, I have a PSA 5 mantle, and it's not the most centered thing in the world. And I've had this conversation with several people who are looking to buy mantles now. We'll look at side-by-side comparison. I mean, my card is beautiful. It's got great registration. It's got good colors, you name it. But it's off left to right. It's definitely not the best 5 I've ever seen. And there are 4s that, if you're just looking at eye appeal from a centering perspective, there are 4s that I would probably trade my 5 for. So whoever gave you the advice, if it was Lou or whoever, and said this is the mantle, it's a 4, even though it's a 4, it's better than some 5s, some 6s. That's smart because in the vintage market, especially, that kind of stuff really does matter. You'll find people who.
Yeah, I bought 2 2s. I bought a 52 311. It's a 2, dead centered, and I bought a 51 Bowman 2, dead centered. So I'm happy.
Listen, you have to like it. You have to like the way it looks.
It's vintage. The card's how old? I expect a little creasing. Eye appeal's huge in vintage. Eye appeal's big.
It's 70 years old, and people were not taking them straight from a pack and putting them in 2 different layers of plastic, sending them off to be hermetically sealed in a slab. It just wasn't happening then. So everybody has to realize 70 years ago that, the vast majority of these things ended up in bicycle spokes or being flipped against walls, on
You think
on
they regret that a little bit?
Maybe. It's one of my favorite T-shirts. I saw walking around at the National, a guy walking around with a shirt that said, "I have the cards your mom threw out." It was great.
Amazing.
It's great.
Yes, you guys see all this stuff. I mean, what's your feedback? You see these auctions now going nuts.
Yeah, you made a great comparison, right? Because it is always the vintage to modern, or those high quality, low pop cards to modern. We talk about it all the time about the difference between prospecting, gambling a little bit, and putting something that's a little more blue chip. And you called it right out. There's a LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to spend hundreds of $1,000s for LaMelo Ball when you have a jersey number, exquisite Michael Jordan autographs there near the face. But, that's sort of the name of the game now, right? I mean, if you watch football this weekend, the people who are buying Joe Burrow cards, are really happy now, and they're paying as much for Joe Burrow, if not more for Joe Burrow, than they were paying for Aaron Rodgers, who's already won the Super Bowl and an MVP, or, a myriad of people who have already won. You looking at bar cards? Look at the bar?
I'm just pulling up JD's Instagram because I think you have one of the best collections, and I want people to kind of, as you guys are talking and riffing, to see.
Cage, let me ask you a question, bud.
Collector.
Yeah, shoot.
Let me ask both of you guys, because you're both collectors. And you could be dead honest. It doesn't matter the answer. Yeah. There's no wrong answer. That's a 2, by the way.
That's beautiful.
Would you guys rather have my card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the PSA 10 Jordan rookie card in the same?
It's funny, Jay. I was thinking about that as we were talking about this. Because I own one. I own a Jordan PSA 10, and not to really explode the and Andrew, you can answer this also, not to really explode the Lelands auction any more than I think it's already going to, and not because it's your card. I have no reason to to pump your bag for you, other than it's nice of you to come on the show. I will obviously be able to buy another Jordan PSA 10 rookie before I can buy another one of this card in jersey number. So in all honesty, it's a real close. I mean, this is a nice card. The PSA 10 rookie, the last one at Golden, sold for like 360 something, 360-ish with the buyer's premium. It's close. I mean, I would if we were at Vegas, I know it's not at Vegas anymore. We were at Vegas and I happen to be on a heater. Me, the Wolf Pack, Andrew over there, the three best friends that anybody could ever have. If we were on a little bit of a run counting cards or something, and I came into a little bit of Scott, I would buy that card 100%. Yeah. I know it wasn't a straight shot answer, but
no,
it's a great comparison.
For me. You guys go back and listen to my episode with Lelands. The first thing when we pull their site up, I do a screen share. Cage remembers my reaction. I said, screw the UFC event. I said, I didn't even look at the LeBron Gold 10. This was the first card I went to. Because, I mean, it's rare that you get Jordan, a patch that's that beautiful, and a jersey number. And I'm also
it's a white jersey,
guy.
too.
Right.
Everybody sleeps on that. You don't really see the white
Why does
jersey.
that matter?
Because not a lot of them.
Because it's such a rare, it's a rare jersey. Usually the cuts are, first of all, you get a lot of breaks in the card. So you have the white, you get the black, you get the red. So I personally haven't seen many white jerseyed cuts, personally. So to me, it just I don't know, it adds a little flair to it that I'm not accustomed to seeing in the Exquisite set.
So pull the card up, Andrew. I'll tell you why it's cool.
There it is. My reaction was very candid.
The white jersey is awesome on this because look at the card it's against, right? The white is against a black. It's like a beautiful contrast. If it were a black jersey or even a red, I mean, red might work also, but look at how it works. Like if this were a white card, like, an SB Authentic background or whatever it may be, if it were a white card, it's a little bit different. Look at the way this works. That said, right, before he goes into his thing, Jay, just real quick, what letter do you think this is? Because Andrew thinks it might be a J. I think it's a U from the Bulls.
I'm going to agree. I want to be biased because my name is Jay. And I did have an actual J patch, which is on my page. But I'm going to agree. You know what? Jordan told me. I think he told me, Jordan Gilroy told me what it was. I think it is the U, buddy. I think you're right, Cage. But I'm going to say, not giving it a decisive
could be. Who knows?
It's a J.
It's a J. All right, go ahead, Andrew.
It's whatever you want it to be, man. You know what? That's the best thing about the hobby, right? Interpret it as you want. I'm not going to be the guy to photo match it to the jersey, and that's not my thing. Certain guys like to do that. Not my thing.
Yeah, it's visual. It's artwork. So to me, the first instinct is it's a J because it looks like a J. I'm not going to go into all that detail. And then you have the 23. You guys could go back, watch it on YouTube 2 weeks ago. My reaction's candid. I've never seen that card before. Talk to us real quick before we let you go. And by the way, the 23_JB_23, one of the nicest guys. So that's Jay on Instagram. Go follow him. One of the nicest guys, man. You reached out. You were grateful that we even talked about the card. You didn't ask for anything from us. You were just like, man, this card's on auction. I would love if people saw the card. That's literally all he said. And you've become a friend. How much have we interacted in the last 2 weeks? So, guys, go to Lelands, check out this card. If you're as they call a whale, this is a one of one. I believe that through and through. Why did you decide to sell through Lelands? Can you give us the story?
I'm not as familiar. I wasn't as familiar with Lelands as I am PWCC and Golden. Obviously, they have a lot more. Let's say marketing, I guess, a lot more pushers, but Lelands has been around for a long time, and that Mint 25, it just called me, man. I mean, Vegas with guys, I booked a trip. I mean, I was excited, who wouldn't be? You guys are going to be there. I mean, I'm sure you got it on the calendar. You're waiting to go. So that was the reason why. It was more of the opportunity, even if the card undersold, I felt like I gave the best opportunity to go to the right person to make the right money. So it would have been an experience for me. I would have been able to network a little bit, maybe make some deals. Who knows, man? I mean, you don't know what happens in Vegas. So I said to myself, let me do it. And Vegas got canceled, so I wasn't going to be the guy to pull my card and then kind of taint, the feeling, because it could cause a domino effect. And Lelands was aware of that. So they did the right thing by me. We ironed it out. And at the end of the day, it's a hobby, bro. I'm sure the car will do well. It's going to go to whoever deserves it. And that's that, man. I just, like I said, it's not about the money. I wanted to talk to you guys because I feel like in comparison to some of the other products out there right now, I just want to know what you guys thought. I kind of wanted your opinion.
I love it.
Here's another card. Beautiful card. This is a rare card. This is a rare card. I can understand why Jordan collectors, because this is a Gem 10. This is extremely hard to get in that grade, and everyone's going nuts with these. So I can understand.
Is that a precious metal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a precious metal gem. Yeah, in the green, and that's a Gem 10.
You can join an elite club. I own that card, and by I own that card, I mean Cage owns that card.
I have the red one.
If
I have a red one.
now, if I'm in this, if I'm a bidder, and there's only one person going to win that PSA 10, right? Yeah. If my 300K doesn't get that card, you would bet your ass I'm getting my card.
So that green one, that's not your card, right?
No.
So the only thing that I'd be worried about with that green one is they made, for whatever reason, and that's done 10 years after the original PMGs, right? They made that card condition sensitive, like almost on purpose, because PMGs is supposed to be condition sensitive. Right. And if you look at it, mine is I think it's like a 6, because they put this like layer on the card, almost like a candy apple layer of red or green that flakes behind Jordan. So what looks like lightning from a scoring king, it's actually cracks on the card. And it cracks while it's in the slab. And you could see it in that picture. You see the little cracks? Yeah. So what I'd be concerned about buying that card is, it's in a lighthouse slab. So I guess it's, a little, it's a PSA lighthouse slab. I'd be concerned that either over time it gets worse or it cracks a little bit and somebody sends it to PSA and PSA says, yeah, it's not a 10 anymore. You know what I mean? We graded it a 10.
Great point.
But now it's cracked a little bit and we got to give it an 8. And you're like, oh shit. I don't So it was, the corners are great. It's still a gorgeous card, but I'd be a little nervous about that. So hope it's not your card. I don't want to shit on it, but that's what we do. We try to be educational a little here too.
I'm an ink guy, man. If I'm going to war, I'm getting some ink. I'm getting a jersey. Like I could say this is cut from Jordan's jersey. Listen, one day this card is going to bite me in the ass. I know. I know down the road it's a fact. Some big collector is going to sell it for $500, $1 million, whatever it may be. There's only 6. At all the years, there was 1 year, I think it was Exquisite was to 10. And the rest are either to 23 or to 50. So there's only 6 jersey numbers that exist.
Right.
And
I'm surprised jersey numbers don't hold this much of a premium. I don't know how much you're into NFTs, but like in NFT culture, especially Top Shot world and all that stuff, I don't want to lose fans. I feel people are probably turning me off.
I already tuned out.
But the jersey number, like it makes it so unique. Like to me, as I'm a collector, but I've only been in this 1-2 years, really. Aside from collecting as a kid. To me, the jersey number instantly makes it a 1-of-1. So.
Oh yeah, they have a Mahomes going on this. It's at 260 right now. It's his RPA, 15 out of 15. Now Mahomes, his jersey's not as recognizable, being number 15 as Jordan as being 23. Right. But the Jordan, I don't know. The number 23 is just sexy, man. That's just my opinion. I see the number 23, it's just Jordan. It doesn't matter. LeBron, whoever. 23 is Jordan.
So, Jay, here's how you don't get burned, right? Because you're right. It's going to go up. Something will happen with this card. Someone will sell it down the road. That's what happens with assets like this, right? It'll sell for $500,000. It'll sell for $800,000, whatever it is. The way you don't get burned is you already have your eye on what you're going to use the money on afterwards. What are you going to get like a mantle 7, like what, a nice centered one? Where are you going with it? You have any ideas?
Well, I'll be honest. A percentage of the reason I sold is because I don't like the way the fucking world is right now. I got to be honest. I'm a little weary. I don't know what's going on. he brought up NFTs, right? I was at a party and we started talking about the metaverse. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a conversation I got in. And this guy's telling me, your kids are going to be in the metaverse and they're going to have goggles on and they're going to be buying assets. They're going to buy your house and they're not going to move. And I'm like, I'm just selling this car. I'm selling a car. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I've heard enough.
By the way, Jay, if you next time you're on Instagram, check out like Oculus Fails. It's the funniest shit in the world. These people put the VR goggles on, the Oculus goggles, and they don't, they're in someone's living room and they're trying it out for the first time, and they're like on a building. They're like running into TVs. They're like jumping into coffee tables. It's the funniest shit in the world, and he's gone.
What happened? Did I blow? I didn't do anything.
Either his phone died, maybe his daughter came in the room and threw him out. You see this, he fails, right? You see this, look at this. Look at the greatest stuff on earth, man. Look at this guy. He's got the thing strapped on his head, right? He's probably up on a building somewhere or somewhere in the metaverse. And he's going to start hopping and he's going to whale himself into a wall. Watch. Well, this is a longer one, so they'll eventually get to it, I guess. But he's walking. There we go. Right into the lamp. And down.
The little girl, she doesn't even help him. She doesn't care.
These guys, they jump into televisions. The boxing ones are the best because they start punching people around them. It's good stuff. They don't know what the heck they're doing. Look at this guy with the TV. People literally like jump into televisions. So that's fun too.
Oculus.
Yeah. Oh, we see.
Oculus fails.
Oculus fails. That's it, man.
Let me see if he's back. There he goes. He's back.
There you go. That's it.
What happened?
It's all right.
It's called. They're in the metaverse. She was wearing the Oculus.
You mentioned the metaverse, and as soon as I do, my phone just depletes and goes dead.
It happens.
Just so you guys have heard this clearly. You're worried about where the world's going. You're at a party. Someone brings up the metaverse. Your kids are going to be wearing goggles. I need to sell my Jordan.
No. That was this weekend's conversation. He was talking about the metaverse, and I equally fucked his brain up by saying a card that could potentially bring a very high six-figure number. So he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Michael Jordan.
What are you talking about?
I'm like, so he's telling me to invest in NFTs, and I'm like, you should buy a few cards. So it was a pretty crazy conversation going back and forth.
People listening, guys, this is what happens. You start talking about NFTs, start talking about like the world is not the way you like it, and boom, the government shuts off your phone, and you're off the show.
Well, you got to be concerned. I mean, cards have appreciated over the years tremendously.
They have.
And they don't seem to be going down. But, my question is, at what point does it stop? I mean, someone buys my card for $300,000, then it goes to $500,000. At some point, the millionaires, he doesn't need the money.
That's right. So Jay, I'm going to tell you, I have the secret to this.
I like
it. Actually, I am gonna play volleyball right now, like on the beach, Karch Karai, Randy Stoklos. I'm gonna set up Andrew, and he's not gonna. You're not gonna dig it. You're not gonna bump it. You are gonna spike this thing down on the North Korean team, the West German team, right? You're gonna slam this down, right? I know exactly when the top is in, whether it's on NFTs or cards. There is a certain person who buys, and that's the automatic top. So who buys, Andrew?
He put his name on the third row of a Jordan Fleer. That is the sell signal. That is the top.
Steve Aoki. When you see Steve Aoki buy anything, sell. That's the top signal, folks.
Okay. Is it? Can I ask a reason? Or is that top secret information?
No, it just has happened time and time again.
So he's like the Vegas Dave.
It's just he buys into certain NFTs, and you'll see him tweet, Steve Aoki just bought this, and then boom, it starts going down. A Jordan card sells for $350,000, $360,000, and the very next one that comes up is the Jordan PSA 10 from the Steve Aoki collection, and it sells for 10 or 15% less. And you're like,
and
what?
Let's be clear. We don't know his intentions. He's a collector. His house is basically like a dollhouse. I think it's what it's called.
And we've probably just shit on a sponsorship with the Coffee Breakers as well, because he's, an investor there. And Steve, we probably love you, but time and time again, you get involved in something, it is the top. I just got to say it. It's a boom, and then straight down. We love you, Steve. Great music.
Yeah.
Brum,
Jay,
brum, brum, brum.
any final? Oh yeah, don't. Any final words before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to you guys, man. This is the first time you're doing something like this. You guys are awesome. I wish
Thanks,
I was following you guys a lot longer than what I had been now. Life gets in the way, though, sometimes, you know?
It does.
But, this content, you guys drive the hobby. So appreciate you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to follow you guys. Like I said, this wasn't for any type of promotion for me. It's just that I'm not in this every day like everybody else. So my brain just goes in circles, man. I'm like, what does the hobby think about this card? Or like the joy, like I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of changes. So I just want to talk to you guys. I know you guys have more of the in than me. So.
Jay, I love it. I love you coming on and talking about the card because, you know, the owner of a card is you know, you're going to give your story about why you had to have the card and why the card is great. But what's great about it is Andrew already did it for you. You know, we had the auction house come on and he was like, holy shit, look at this card. Guys, if you don't believe it, just go back and listen a couple episodes ago when we had Lelands on. Lelands is in the title of the episode. And he's like, look at that card. It's gorgeous. You name it. And I'm going to tell you, Jay, we're going to finish our episode here. And if that card, I mean, the auction ends in 2 days.
2 days?
If that card is still where it is tomorrow, I'll be bidding on that card. I'm going to be bidding on that card. I'm telling you, I'll bid on it because it is a gorgeous card. It's a gorgeous card.
You can't lose with the card. Forget money. Everyone thinks about money, money, money. But at the end of the day, it's iconic because this card will, and this is another reason why I didn't tell you why. Another reason why I listed it because I want to just mess shit up right now. There's never been another 23 sold. So now this enables the hobby to change up. Now other guys with a 23, you know, exquisite or something else may say, fuck it, maybe it's my time. And use my card as a comp and try and do what they have to do. So, you know, it's definitely going to change the game, and we'll see what happens, fellas.
I
love
it. You. We'll let you go. We're going to, guys who are listening, stay on. We're going to give our 2 plays. Jay, I'm glad you reached out just on Instagram and we got to know each other and become friends.
You guys are the best, bro.
I hope we stay in touch.
Guys.
Thanks, Jay.
Cage, if you get it, man, good luck.
Oh, I'll let you know.
Good luck, man.
I'll let you know.
Maybe I'll make a trade or something. I got some answers for you.
He wanted to buy it. He's going to get it back.
Are they centered?
I got a scented one for you.
Yes, beautiful. I love it. All right, brother.
Stay,
Take
brother.
All
care.
right, fellas. Be well.
So what'd you think, brother?
That's nice. That's good stuff, man. It's good stuff to get somebody on.
gotta
He
ask
obviously
you,
loves the card. Yeah, shoot.
As someone who's like new to the hobby, you know how I feel about auctions. Why do some auction houses go full blast, like Instagram live? We're gonna promote, and other ones don't.
Social selling's a new thing, man. We talked about it with Whatnot, you know, and people don't know to do this. I mean, Ken Golden's good at it because did you look up? You're on YouTube now. Ken Golden Home Shopping Network. You know what I mean? You're up there, right? I told you, I'm 99% sure Ken was like selling cards on television. There are certain personalities that do that. I love our Whatnot show. You and I get to talk and sell and do picks and that kind of stuff. These auction houses previously never had to do that, you know? And it's because, listen, the baseball auction houses were based on your art auction houses and your other auction houses, right? And you got he's going to call in Ken Golden. Watch. So, there, Ken Golden. You found the video? Does it say Ken Golden on there? Yeah. Before Ken Golden was on Netflix, he was on Shop at Home with Don West. Don West is a Beanie Baby guy, too. This is exactly the video I wanted you to find that we talked about on the episode the other day.
Can you hear the
sound? He's going to call in. No, I can't hear the sound. But he calls in Ken and to sell what? Like All Sport, maybe? Or,
that's hilarious.
Card Porn posted it. There you go.
Subscribe.
There you go. Subscribe to Card Porn. Card Porn's got the best content on YouTube. Look at this.
Well done.
I say let's find Ken Golden on Home Shopping Networks, and boom, there he is. And they call him in. I think he might even show up. They might even have a video of him. But I can't hear the audio that you're playing right now.
This is like 1992.
This is long. 92 was when he was doing Classic, and he was doing the Classic 4 Sport and all that other stuff. You know, all that other fun stuff that was out there.
You guys can find
So anyway, some people they do that, and like Heritage. If you look at Heritage website, it's not like Golden. You pull up Golden's website, and whatever his current auction is, boom, front and center. You pull up Heritage, and you pull up like their 19 different locations, the team that sells wine in Hong Kong, the team that sells fancy watches, the team that sells Ming vases. You got this. You got to like actually look for the baseball cards, right? And when they do those other auctions, the fancy jewelry, the artwork, they're not going on Instagram to talk up their, Picassos. It just wasn't part of the process. It's not how auctions were done. But things change, right? And Ken, I gotta tell you, you go back 4 or 5 years, Golden was not a player in this. I mean, he was an auction, but it was a smaller auction house with smaller auctions. I remember buying things in Golden auctions and telling people, and they're like, "Who? You mean Heritage? Who? You mean like who?" No, not Heritage. Yep.
Does it net to the same kind of thing? Like what I mean is, okay, some cards will go higher because they're promoted, but it might also turn other buyers off because that's not the right way to do it. Because here's my concern. That card,
go for it.
I'm worried it goes for half the price that it would go for with Golden because he would get eyeballs on it.
I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible. But let's give Lelands a chance here. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? You know what I mean? It's only 48 hours. But maybe they come out tomorrow and do a live. Maybe they do some stuff. Or maybe they say, you know what? We don't have to do a live. People know about our card. We've promoted the hell out of it. They've put stuff on Instagram. They've done like a 1-card reveal for each one. Like even Ken doesn't do that. I mean, they'll post stuff on Twitter, but when you have only 25 cards in your auction, like each one is getting enough attention. Each one is getting enough of, its screen time. So, I think Leland's done a good job with it. Listen, it's also a different thing, right? This Mint 25, it was supposed to be live. It's not live. I've sold with Ken myself. And, I had a lot of stuff on there that was new. It was the Top Shot stuff that I sold. And it kind of got buried in the auction also. And, like that. So even social selling and talking about it, there's a double-edged sword there. You might be talking up the auction lots of 3 people, 5 people, when you got hundreds of consigners saying, "Hey, how come you're not talking up my thing? My thing is awesome too. My thing's got a sick patch. If you were to talk about mine, Ken, then it would be blah blah blah." You know what I mean? It's a tough edge. It's a double-edged sword. At least that's my take on it. And everybody has their own way of doing stuff, right? They have their own success. I can't fault Jay for putting in a Mint 25 when literally everything in there is supposed to be basically a 6-figure, $250,000 item. Like you would figure.
Supposed to be live at Vegas.
Yeah. But I mean, he's got the right idea, right? Because look at it. It's got a Jordan PMG green. It's got the secondary PMG green. It's got a Jordan rookie PSA 10, and it's got his card. And they're all in the same wheelhouse of price. So if you go in there with $350,000 to buy the Jordan rookie and you miss, right? Somebody beats you and spends $360, and you were like, "I'm going to spend." I had $350 to spend, and you could pick up that Exquisite for $270 or $230, whatever it is. But yeah, okay, I got $100,000 left to put towards the Jordan rookie next time. You mean, you got to figure that type of auction has that type of a potential bidder in it. So I get what he's doing. I get where he was coming from on it.
We'll wrap this topic.
So,
I'll just tell you guys, he reached out on our Luka Tiger LeBron pod, and it was one of the most pleasant experiences ever. It wasn't someone that's arrogant or condescending or anything. He's just like, "Man, I love this card so much. I can't wait for another collector to get it. I hope the other collectors realize the rarity of it. I see all of these people buying, base cards, but this is a jersey numbered Jordan game worn patch auto." And I like that, man. You know how much I love learning from and talking to collectors. So I was like, dude, you got to come on. This was a card I loved when we first had Lelands on. You just through serendipitously found our podcast, reached out. So it was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Topics du jour. Talk to me.
Well, we're 40 minutes in, so we can do one topic. We don't want to have, a 3-hour episode. That was awesome, though. I mean, that was a good use of a half an hour. I like that because, and guys, we've talked about this. It's not just businesses, right? We said, hey, somebody wants to come on and talk about your safety, security, what you're doing for buyers. We talked to Whatnot came on. We talked to Loop canceled. But now this is the other side of the equation, right? The other side of the equation is, what? I'm not supposed to say they canceled and told us that they're busy for the next foreseeable future. Like they canceled, but they don't want to come on like tomorrow. They want to come on in the summer.
Our loyalty to the truth, always through and through. That's a promise.
And we love you guys at Loop. We love you, but you canceled on us. Who doesn't want to come and talk to me? Especially
when people reach out Cage, you know how quick I am to reply.
Yep.
Like within
Yep.
minutes. They're like, yo,
Yep.
we would love to have the CEO and our head of biz dev come on. I respond within 5 minutes. Like, we do a show every day. We'd love to have you guys on. And then they canceled. I was like, all right, like, is another day? They're like, a couple months.
Couple months. Well, we'll talk to you in a couple months. We'll be happy. We're happy to have you on. You know,
We'll be
happy
here.
to talk to you. No, we'll be here every single goddamn day. So anyway, what I would like to say is, there's nothing wrong with it not being a business that reaches out. It's somebody who heard our podcast and heard us talking about his card on an episode and says, "Hey, I'll come on and talk about the card. You like that card? I'll come on and tell you the story of it. Why the hell not?" And you don't have to be somebody who's selling a $200 and something thousand card. We get people who reach out to us all the time. You know, people who are starting up a business in the hobby, whatever it is. Reach out. It was real
Let me
good
be
at
clear,
responding.
Cage. He didn't even ask to come on. What he said was like, yo, I love this card. I just hope a lot of people see it because I'm kind of worried that a lot of people won't. And I was like, why don't you come on? Because I love the card and I want to hear how you got it. So he was just like, yo, I'm shitting. I just want this, awesome guy. All right, well, I'll talk about a different topic tomorrow in longer form because it's 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'll get into my play. The human eye, and this is how magicians work, right? They show you something over here to distract you while they're doing the magic trick over here, right?
The Prestige.
The Prestige. I love that movie, man. That movie kind of, I still not sure I get it. It's up there with like
No clue. And
Yeah.
and I thought I was watching it one time. I was 40 minutes in, and I was watching the movie The Illusionist, and it wasn't The Prestige. It was, I mean, it was like a magic. It was like it's like Hollywood played a magic trick on me. Like in one hand, I thought I was watching The Prestige, and boom, it was The Illusionist because they came out at the same time and they were the same movie. Anyway, go ahead. I apologize.
I think that is what happens when we see Zion or Ja versus a Devin Booker. And my play today is once again Devin Booker. What do I mean by that? This
I don't know.
Anything negative towards Ja or Zion, right? But Flash gets you more attention. Whereas slow and steady growth goes unnoticed. And that's what I'm seeing from Book. You know, people haven't noticed his growth and progress as a player, but it's there, man. It's there. And this is a future MVP, in my opinion. This is someone who I could see him dominating the league for 5, 6, 7 years as we clear out this crop of veterans, Gage. And when I say clear out, like I don't want them to go, but eventually LeBron, Chris Paul, Curry, they're not going to be in the league anymore. It's just the reality. Westbrook, Lillard, and there's the new age. And I think that cream of the crop, you have the young guys, Luka, Tatum, all those through and through. I think Booker's going to be the bellwether. And we're a little bit behind in realizing that. But he's continuously playing better. He's on the best team in the league. He's the best player on the best team in the league. And we could talk Chris Paul, Book. That's always a really interesting discussion. But the guy is improving his game day in and day out quietly, has a good head on his shoulders. You never see him doing dumb stuff. And I really like to watch his growth and improvement. And I think this is a guy that future MVP. And I think I'm going to stay with the silver in this scenario because it's at near all-time lows where his performance and his team is at record highs. So I'll pull up the card. I love
it. I love the play. It's funny because I'm going to call my guy similar to you. Let's pull the card up while I'm doing this. You're going to say they're not similar players. I understand. I understand why you wouldn't, consider it a similar guy. And I love the silver on this. And guys, don't confuse this silver with some of the more recent silvers. What's the pop on this?
176.
What's the pop on this? Yeah. So I mean, we talked about Jaws silver, and it was over 1,000, right?
We started our show July 2020, right? That was the run-up of all run-ups.
Yep.
But that was the beginning, right? That was the card is at near the same price that it was before the run-up. On July 31st, before anything the Suns have accomplished. You know what's actually funny? We forget about the Suns. Remember they went 8-0, but they didn't make the playoffs?
Yes. Yep. So here's what I do. What I'm doing on this is I'm taking my thumb and I'm covering. So I'm doing my little thumb here, right? I get my little thumb and I'm covering that part of the chart. That's just the peak. And if you cover that chart there, if you just put your thumb over that and you stop at July 2020 and just pick up now, It's a nice steady line moving up. That's all it is. A nice little steady line moving up, straight there, straight across. And it'll probably keep going that way. You just got to take. We've talked about this. It's like a finger with a wart on it. Just cut the wart off. Cut the wart off, and almost every chart sort of looks like this. So I like it. So here's my play. You ready? And it's also a fun one. Same type of thing. I believe, right? A guy who is, I believe, a very good regular season player, regular season team, but doesn't actually win. Is not going to win there. But I'm starting to hear reports about him that lead me to believe he's going to be on a different team soon. You and I talked about Spider Mitchell in our collectible episode on Sunday, because we talked about his national treasures, and you said, hey, who's collecting them? Who's collecting Spider Mitchell? Well, he's not somebody you're going after. I think Devin Booker is sort of in the same, he's overlooked because he's not the flashy new guy anymore that everybody's chasing, LaMelo and Zion and Ja and Luka. He's almost, forgotten, right? So Spider's a little, after him, a couple years after, right? And played great, got all the skills in the world, plays with a chip on his shoulder. I've been hearing rumors, because I'm connected to the basketball world. I talked to all the beat writers, I got all the agents on my cell phone, my flip phone, that he's one early Western Conference exit from being a Knick. That's the rumor. You can type Mitchell Knicks into Twitter and see a whole bunch of this rumor going around today, right? Sources in his camp saying they think he's too big for Utah. He's too big of a star. When that stuff starts to leak, that's because the team's looking to get out. The player's starting to get out. You look at his contract, it's something that can definitely happen even at the end of the season. The Knicks are going to have plenty of money. The Knicks are a debacle. The Knicks, terrible team. They were fool's gold at the beginning of the year. I mean,
my worst prediction ever. I'm embarrassed. If I see Julius Randle,
but
I'm going to try to bully
players. Well, we've seen players come to New York and on that big stage succeed and own this town, own the city. Their cards become relevant again. You know what I mean? It was, we haven't had one since like Carmelo, right? But even Derrick Rose as a sixth man kind of has a little bit more relevancy than he did have, right? But Spider comes to New York and makes them a relevant team, and they start winning and they start making the playoffs. His cards will go up just on the announcement, and it doesn't have to just be New York. He can go anywhere. As long as he's going to another market, a team that's not Utah, right? A team where he's the guy, kind of is now, and they let him run. Let the ball come through him, Luka style. Let him touch the ball as much as he can and get there, whatever they can out of him for the 5 years they're gonna have him under contract. It's a play because no one's looking at it right now, just like no one's looking at Booker. It's the same type of reasoning, right? Like the older guys are going to leave, and these are going to be the guys who own the league for the next 10 years. So I like that you want Booker because I have a similar play.
Not just that. There are guys that have a very loyal fan base that really are waiting for something, right? There's the Spider Mitchell fan base are what I think are collectors because they've held him for a while. And any move like that, you're going to see his card go up quite a bit because those guys have been waiting for it forever, right? They're not selling. They haven't sold through the toughest times. So so they're like, finally, this is my spot. This is my chance. So he's a guy that if he goes to the Knicks, man, you see his cards go berserk. I had no idea. That's when the Gobert Mitchell thing happened when COVID first started. I thought that was going to be the end of the two because remember back then there was like a rift thing between Gobert, and then they came back and they were first in the league last year, right? They had but again, regular season team. You've said it a few times. They're a regular season team. They're not a threat in the playoffs. I think it would be a good move. I really fucking hate the Knicks though. I do. How do you trade for Cam Reddish and then don't play him? What's the point?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I guess they'll tell you that they weren't really playing Kevin Knox either. So, but I mean, they gave up a draft pick.
Does this? He runs his vets into the ground. He plays them huge minutes.
It's true.
He hates. You look at these games. You look at all their blowouts. The starters get blown out. He puts in Quickly and Toppin in the fourth quarter, and they have a plus minus that's positive because those guys go out there and hustle. But
Toppin ended up leading the team in scoring yesterday. with
But
18.
he doesn't play him.
I know.
And you drafted him second like 2 years ago. Why don't you want the dude to develop?
Like
This isn't
10%.
baseball where you send guys down to G League. You got to let your guys run because you have a game every other day. Practice is more of a walkthrough than a serious practice. So when is he going to develop?
And they were embarrassed. They've been embarrassed recently at the Garden. They look bad. You might as well switch it up and see what you have there, right? You got this kid Reddish. Let's see what he can do.
He plays Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, literally the exact same guy in a different body. They both go left, or they go shoulder into your chest and hope. Like, it's just pathetic, man.
Well, I mean, listen. At least right now with Randall, he's playing better than people thought he was going to be. You know, a lot of people were mad the Knicks had to settle for for Barrett. People were mad that Knicks didn't get the number 1 pick and get Zion, and they got Barrett instead. You know, this year they're getting a lot more out of Barrett than they would have gotten out of Zion.
They're going to get Zion and put him on the bench, and he's going to hang out with Cam Reddish.
Well, then maybe my Mitchell play is not the greatest. Maybe they get trade for him and put him on the bench. That would be no good. that would be no good.
If they get, I like that. Reddish, RJ Barrett, you get Mitchell, and then you get Zion. I don't understand how any of that scenario would help happen.
You don't need Zion there. I mean, you get to play somebody like, Mitchell's played well with Gobert. Maybe you play Mitchell Robinson, and you got a Spider Mitchell Robinson combo there. That's to clean her up on the glass. Yeah, when you have Mitchell and Barrett going left and Mitchell going right, and Obi Toppin, and I'm not saying they're winning a championship, but they'll be better than they are now, and it'll be Spider's team. So
they've never
the Knicks need that.
A first round pick since what was it? 1990. What was it?
1994. 1994. Charlie Ward. Yep. That was the last guy that they re-signed their first round pick beyond the rookie contract.
They need a cage lawyer in house. So anytime Andrew Goldberg gets too big, like, this podcast is going to be Barstool, all that, you're like, okay, Andrew, all we need to do is let's hit a record high in listens. Let's just, right, all they need to do is just re-sign the next first round pick they draft. Like, their next goal.
Couple fun things. One, start with a brick. Then put another brick. And put another brick, and soon you have a foundation. And then on top of the foundation, more bricks. Maybe not great for basketball, right? Because you don't want bricks in basketball. You understand. This every day we put an episode out that's another brick we're building. We built a foundation. We're building a hell of a building that's never going to fall down. Same stuff, and they got to do it. They just don't. They don't. The foundation is just not there. They have almost 30 years now where they have not re-signed any of their drafted talent. That's horrible. Like, you can't, there's no foundation being built for that franchise. It's why they haven't had success. And they're pretty terrible at bringing in good free agents, too. Every year it's the same thing. It's like, who's going to want to play for the Knicks at the Mecca? And then no one comes, It's Amari Stoudemire, So
this is a quote, from Tibbs. At that point, we're in a pretty big hole. He's talking about Cam Reddish. We're down 30. Just to get him some playing time, to get out there with that group, it was good to get some minutes for him.
God.
I've never seen anything like it. You trade for a guy who you think has some potential, and then you put him as the last guy off your bench. I don't know, man. Call me crazy.
It's pretty damn terrible.
Though, and
I'm
excited for this game. It's a big game. 2 years ago, Kobe passed away on the 26th, and the Lakers were playing the Sixers. Pretty sure that was the day actually LeBron passed Kobe in scoring. Too. Remember, and Kobe tweeted carry the game forward. So I'm really excited for that. Lakers Sixers always a fun one, right? Always a fun game.
Yep.
And this is kind of a cool matchup because this is the Lakers healthy again versus Embiid MVP caliber type of team, a type of player with the Sixers. So really excited. I don't know which way this game is going to go, but very much looking forward to it.
We'll see what Embiid really has, Embiid and Davis. I like Embiid and Davis. No, I'm good, man. My phone's about to die, and we keep getting a million text messages, so it's pausing everything. So,
all right.
So even though you've advised them all that we are recording, they just keep on coming.
Well, they have.
So I got to get a separate phone.
Manny asked, why or how or both probably is Andrew Wiggins a starter for the All-Star game. Any thoughts?
Wiggins was voted a starter that was announced, or he's like running. So it just means that the voters out in San Francisco are coming in, heavy. I remember one year in baseball. Remember this?
Curry Wiggins.
Yeah, so it's Curry
named
Wiggins,
All-Star
right?
game starters.
No, Ja was number 2. Ja was way over Wiggins. I mean, Wiggins must not be backcourt. Wiggins is front court.
Wiggins is small forward.
Right, so he's front court, right? So that's like the top vote getter. So who are going to be the front court West? LeBron. Who else was out there? But yeah, I mean, guys, really, for a while there in baseball, the Kansas City Royals were sending half the All-Star team starters. Oh,
I love.
They were sending half because.
Dude, let him text.
So
it doesn't. I don't know why it bothers you so much.
It blocks everything. So anyway, it is what it is. So it's a fan vote, right? So if everybody's out there voting for Curry, they just click Wiggins too. I mean, it's all Golden State Warrior fans. So that's the deal. Who else is there? Who's the front court?
So I'll read this real quick for you guys. West today, we'll talk East tomorrow. So LeBron, Jokic were 1 and 2. Wiggins was 3.
Makes sense.
Paul George was 4.
See,
Anthony
but that's
Davis was
that's
5. Draymond Green was 6. Melo was 7. Cat was 8. Gobert was 9, and Ayton was 10.
It's a fan vote. It's LA, right? They got a lot of fans, got a lot of people out there. That's why Paul George is being voted for. It's California, right? Look at all those names: Paul George, Wiggins, Draymond, Steph, LeBron. I mean, Steph is not front court, but he's the leading vote getter. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people in California, a lot of voters.
For guards. So guards, Curry,
guards
Ja,
is Steph,
Luka,
and Ja and Luka.
Clay. Real quick, Curry. I'm reading this in order 1 to 10. Curry, Ja, Luka, Clay, Book, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul,
it's LA.
Spider Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Anthony Edwards.
The last year, Alex Caruso was on the top 10, I think.
Alex Caruso
in
is
LA.
I
get it, but he shouldn't be top 10 All-Star votes. You understand? I mean,
that was a dirty foul by Grayson Allen, by the way. That's not a 1 game. That's a 10-game suspension. That's someone.
You just don't like Duke. You just don't like Duke and Christian Leitner.
I invested in Zion out of Duke, bro. You can't go for a block and throw the guy to the ground. That was a really dirty foul.
He got suspended for a game.
What the fuck's a game?
It's Grayson Allen.
That's a rest.
It's one 82nd of the season. Folks, this is another full episode. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.